Hello, hello. Happy day 17 of NaNoWriMo. How is everyone doing today?
Yes, I'm good.
It's no longer November. It's just now NaNoWriMo.
We don't need November. November doesn't exist.
No, we don't. Not at all. Never. How's the writing going for you guys this month or this past week, I should say?
It's going. Like the words are there. I've got enough words. They're not as trash words as they were last year. Last NaNoWriMo, it was just like I was just writing down whatever I could write down. So it's not, I'm getting better at it. So it's not all garbage, but I do feel the pressure. Like it's getting late. I've only got X amount of time left to write. Let's just get stuff down, kind of thing. And it's like, oh, that could be better. Clean it up later,
Yeah.
So
I feel that.
I feel like I'm kind of similar. I've never been this late in Nano. I don't know if that makes sense, but usually like I finish around like day 15 and I'm not close to finishing. Like I have never been this close to like the line that they show, but it's just so busy. But I will say, even though I'm very close to the line, I'm very happy with a lot of what I'm writing. So
that's good. That's good words.
Yes.
I'm doing okay. The quality of what I'm writing is questionable. There's a lot of times where I've just been like, oh, I need to write like this fight scene, and literally I'm just like, this person does magic and someone else does magic in return, and then that's the fight scene, because I just can't think of the details I want to go into it. So it's very just basic, a lot of telling. It's a lot of telling, which is going to create more work for me later, but that's future Sarah's problem to deal with. In the very, very far future.
I literally put in a section. The other day in bold. It says spell, and then I moved along. So I feel you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's. Oh, I don't know. I don't know what it is about this book. I just can't get the thoughts right for what I want to write down. But I think that's because I'm a little bit uncertain about the outline I've created for it. I don't know. Well, yeah, it's not my problem, so it's okay.
Sarah's literally writing it, not my problem, though.
Not my problem. Faisha, hey. My problem this month is that my chapter count keeps growing. Every time I finish a chapter, I think of something that would add 2 more. Yeah.
Ooh, yes.
Not a terrible problem.
I think I'm like, that's maybe a good problem.
Mm-hmm.
You can always whittle it down later in edits, but at least you've got the material and that the creative juices are flowing. I'm like,
you have more words you can write.
Yes, I could work with that.
Yes. It's a problem when it veers you too far off your intended outline.
Yeah. Maybe you've got some side stories or something in there that you just need to get it down really quick and suss it out later. But if it's exactly. Yeah. But if it's in your head and it's telling you to write it down, go ahead. You got to write it down, because if you're like me, it will like just keep nagging until I'm like, okay, just write it down because it's there. I don't know, it doesn't fit anywhere yet, but my brain is not letting me let it go. So at least just write it down, block it out, highlight it so that you know that this was added. I might not actually need this. Or I've just changed my whole plot. One of the two has just happened.
Yeah. But I want it to be done. You're writing the forever novel. It will never end.
Relatable. This is relatable content.
Okay. It is completely. I wish my brain worked that well. There's so many ideas that they all just come. Well, I suppose all the ideas coming at once would be a little bit frustrating, but at least it's better than I don't know what to do now. What needs to come next? And then not thinking of anything at all whatsoever.
Mm.
It's bad. Right. So I think we should go. Which button do I need to press? On this one today. Yeah. We'll go straight into our first sprint. Does anybody have any preferences about length of the sprints that we want to do today?
I'm good for anything. Yeah. I just want to get started, so I'm good with anything. I'm gonna get Loki settled because there's like a dog like crying. I think it's one of the neighbor dogs, and he's just like very upset about it. So try to calm him down. Yeah, he's like, I'm like, I hear him too. Yeah, I do hear him. We'll figure out what that is, and then I'll write.
Yes. Okay, so we'll just go with the no hope button. That's the best thing to do, I think. Dave's favorite. Right, we're going to press this button. It will turn out a random writing sprint. We tend to have fun with it. They tend to be long ones, so buckle yourselves in. And we'll get started in 3, 2, 1. Begin. Okay, I know it. 49. Happy writing, everybody. Okay, that is the end of the first mega sprint. How did everybody do?
Man, I'm so mad. I was so close.
I'm sorry.
To 1,000. I was so close. I need 7 words,
Oh,
and I would have got
Oh
1,000.
wow!
I was trying. I was like, dang it. Dang
so
it.
close. Oh,
That is great. You're almost there, Renee. Oh my gosh, that's exciting. I would be too. I'd be like, I can make it.
It's like,
Oh, I got Loki settled. The neighbor's dog is just out. I don't know. He's just playing. So if he barks again, Loki will wake up. But so he's settled. I fed him and gave him some treats, so he's good. And then I got 568 words typed, and then I was like, oh, there's a part in the story where I have her writing a letter to the emperor and empress, who are her aunt and uncle, kind of like distant. And so I was like, let me handwrite that. So I got a little bit of the letter handwritten. So
nice.
that's where I'm at.
Handwriting is so fun.
It is. It is.
I don't like handwriting because my brain moves too fast for my hand. So most of my handwriting ends up completely illegible. And so I have no idea what I was actually trying to write. It's really bad.
Yeah.
I managed 1,164 words for that sprint. I finished one scene. I moved on to another scene, which is stuffed with conversation right now that I'm trying to extend to 1,000 words because that's my minimum for each scene that I want to do, which is fine. It's okay. It needs to be there eventually. And we had a nice conversation in the comments as well regarding name picking for characters.
That's my favorite. What was going on? I missed it.
Hate picking names.
Yes. Really? Justin Case had some great advice for picking names. I love it until a name doesn't fit anymore, and then I'm like, oh, this name has to change because it's not jiving with this character.
Really?
But yeah.
I don't think I don't think I've ever changed a name. Like once it's the name, that's just the name. But I always do that first.
I have changed names only in one story that I've ever written, which was my old YA urban fantasy about angels and stuff. The main character's name changed 3 times before I settled on the one that I have now. And her, at the time, love interest, which they're no longer the love interest. Not that I'm working on this story anymore. His name changed once because I don't know, I started writing it with the one name, and then after a while I went back to it and I was like, oh, you know what, I don't like this name. So then I had to change it. But yeah, it sucks. When you like a name and then you go back and it's like, actually, you know what, no, it's not the right vibe for what I'm going for.
I feel like the only time I ever do that is for like minor characters, and like I find sometimes when you make like a lot of characters at once, some of their names sound similar, so I'll change those names. But like for main characters, I don't think I've ever changed a name.
Yeah, I think I changed for a main character. It's a last name, and that's because I want the family line names to go, and I'm like, oh, it's not gonna work. So but usually I'm pretty good with my main character's first name. Like I get a really good vibe on who they are as I'm writing them. It's usually a side character that's like, yeah, no, I don't like that. I don't like that.
I have never changed a side character's name.
Really?
I'm like, wow. We need to make this side character this name, and it's the first name that pops into my head, and then that, because they're not that important, so I'm like, what do I care what their name is? You know, whatever.
Oh no, I've got like I have a name that I like to use, Anastasia, and
Yeah.
I'm like, I need to find a side character whose name can be. I don't know why.
I have an Anastasia who is a side character. No, I've recently
hilarious.
gotten very pedantic with my names. Because I am like putting as much diversity as I can into my novels, I'm finding more and more that, as well as, you know, the diversity of different cultures and countries that all my characters originate from, I want their names to be just as culturally diverse as well. So the research that I'm putting in to my characters' names to make sure that they are originally from this country that, you know, their parents were born from, or that one of the characters in Abingdon House is Chinese. So it's like, okay, so I know, you know, trying to research the Chinese names, and sometimes they have English names purposely for when they're in the West and things like that, and Russian names to make sure that they are authentically Russian names. It's ridiculous the amount of research that I've put into making everything.
That's important. It's important,
is.
though.
It
Honestly,
it is very important, and I've learned some really, really interesting things. But
yeah, I
the
feel like
amount it's just the preparation that I now
Yeah.
go into in order to get the names of my characters, and not just pick something that sounds like a name that I like.
mhm.
Yeah. I have a character whose last name I named after the last name of an actor that I like. And then I'm like, but let me look it up. And when I look it up, traditionally where they're from, they spell it a little bit different. So then I had to debate, do I spell it the traditional way, or do I just spell it from the last name of the actor that I like? And so I had to debate that out, and I went with the actor that I like, because that's why I named it that way. So I was like, I'm sticking with this one. I know some people might ask, and if they do ask, I'll be like, because I named it, you know, I like this actor, I used their last name, and so that's why.
I feel like I was listening to a podcast. I feel like it was Write or Die. And Clarabelle was talking about how, was it Clarabelle? Somebody was talking about how they were naming a character in one of their books. And it was like, somebody said it was too ethnic, which would be a problem. Like if you wanted to be like adapted, like it means that you would have to have somebody who's ethnic play the character. And that's, ever since I heard that, I might be like totally lying on what podcast this is, but like I definitely heard this in a podcast. Ever since I heard that, I'm like, okay, let me just straight up go for like, I need names that, like, if I have a Korean character, their name is going to be Korean. And if I have somebody like be as, what do you call it, purposeful as possible when picking names, because they're like, oh, well, pick something generic so that you can whitewash it down the road.
Bob Smith, and Bob Smith in your head, Bob Smith is like maybe Middle Eastern, but then by the time your movie gets adapted, your book gets adapted to a movie, you know, Bob Smith is blonde haired and blood because you named him Bob Smith. So
thank you.
Anything we want him to be.
So why have you named your characters such an ethnic name? Because they are an ethnic character, and they need to be played by an ethnic actor, because that's who they are. Like, I'm not just picking the name because I think it's pretty. It's purposeful.
Exactly. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Love the logic.
There is, we have logic.
Yes.
Other people don't have logic.
No.
This is true.
Some of the names in the story I currently write are easy. They are androids, and their manufacturer gives them all 4-letter names like Aura and Rose. Yeah, see?
Yep.
Yeah, makes sense. But names. I mean, there's so many different ways of picking the names for your characters. I sort of go into it with I feel like this character has a 2-syllable name. And so I go looking for 2-syllable names. Or I feel like this character's name begins with a D. So I look for D names because I'm weird like that. But I know some people do choose them culturally. Some people choose them based on what the name means. And then
I do that.
The meaning of the name relates to something specific within that character and their personality or their character arc or something like that. So there's tons of ways to pick, but
It's
baby name websites
yeah.
is
Yes.
my go-to.
It's super fun, like for myself personally, to pick names that mean something, because then you can just like hint at stuff.
Yes.
Like if you read my
Yeah.
stories and then anybody cares enough to look up what the character name means, like I would say probably 90% of the names that I pick have some relevance to like the story or the character.
Yeah, my fantasy novel is definitely like that. And so I think when people look at the names, they'll be like, oh, I got that.
Yeah.
But their names definitely correlate to something that means something. So it's like that. I love that when that happens. Sometimes I like when I have when I have options for the names, because sometimes something will be like, ooh, that name just doesn't sound good though. So I like having options. So yeah, I'm happy. Like I'm very happy with the character names in my fantasy novel.
Yeah. So do you real names for your fantasy novels, or do you guys prefer weird
Depends on
writing or reading, or like the weird
I
it
made
don't.
up?
depends for me. It depends on, like with my sci-fi novel, the people from Earth have more Earth-like names, but I have fun with my people from other planets, and then I try to get the rhythm of the names similar. Like if it's similar characters from the same planet, I try to find a pattern so that their names fit. Like our names are first name, middle name, last name here in America, out of Europe. So when I create people from other planets, I want their names to kind of read out the same way. And I know some cultures it's the last name first and then the first name or middle name or mother's name or however they do it. So I try to do that also with my peoples from other places, other planets when I'm doing sci-fi. And fantasy, my more Earth-like, even though it's not Earth, they tend to have more Earth-like names, but I can play with those a little bit. But the ones that have meaningful names, then they are, but they're not going to be very typical. So you might want to look them up. But my fairies, they can be whatever. My fairies and dragons, it's just like whatever I want.
I have a bone to pick with fantasy naming conventions, because like this comment says, Casey, if I cannot read the name, that is so frustrating. Like I have literally put down books because I'm like reading like the entire alphabet of letters in this one name, and I'm like, how do I pronounce this? Like,
you have to be, for me especially, I have to be able to hear it in my head because I'm slightly dyslexic. So I actually have like a narrator reading in my head that reads to me that it corrects things as I read them a little bit faster, to have a narrator, because a narrator will not say something wrong, if that makes sense. I don't know how else to explain it, but so I have a narrator that reads in my head, and if my narrator cannot pronounce the name, it's like I have to make a really bad guess.
Honestly, I just find it super frustrating, like because you read at a certain pace, right, and then you like are coming to a dead stop to try and decipher what this name is. It's so frustrating. So for myself personally, like I lean towards normal, like I go for like unique names that are still kind of normal.
Yeah, you could still pronounce, like you could figure out what it is.
And like my way of like making it a little bit different is I'll put like two names together. And then so they're still like pronounceable, whatever, but like it's not me just going on the keyboard.
Like, let me just throw a bunch of letters together. That sounds cool. Like, no, you're gonna make your poor readers crazy unless you've got some phonetic thing at the end, an appendage at the end that says, please pronounce it like this.
Exactly.
It's like, whew, it can be a lot. It can be a lot.
Honestly, like even I feel like names of characters can either go either way, but I find like fantasy places and like the world and whatever, it's so hard.
Yeah.
To
even
pronounce.
if I spell it like my worlds, my countries, or whatever in my fantasy world. If I can't say it, then
Yeah,
I'm like,
exactly.
okay, it's got to change. It's got to change.
Exactly.
Even if I think I just created the most amazing name for this place, it's like, but when I immediately look at it, can I say that? No.
I actually
Simplify it.
I do the same thing with like my Earth characters as well. Like if I give a character a name, and even like with ethnic names or whatnot, like I will do the research to make sure I know how to pronounce it, because there's no way I'm going to go to an interview and be like, oh yeah, this is this person's name, and somebody is going to be like,
somebody
"You don't know how
raises
to
their
pronounce
hand.
that
No,
name."
that's not even how you say that.
Exactly.
How dare you? It's like, no,
Exactly.
get it right. Get
So
it
I'm
right,
also
guys.
careful. Exactly. I'm also careful like with that kind of naming as well. Like I will still obviously give people the names that are different than my own, but like research.
Yes,
Do your research.
that is definitely key. I can't click on any of the comments. Let's see. I think historical palace stories. So I made my own job harder by. Oh, she's on it. She's like, I'm on it. Syllables count and having the names sound like specific cultures that I obscure to most people. Oh yeah, cool. Prefer names I can pronounce. Yes, takes me out of the story if I have to struggle too hard.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, because I want to know what their name is, because you know you're going to run into that name again, and are you going to struggle every time? So sometimes I'm just like, let me just, I'm just going to call her Kay, because that's as much as I can pronounce. And
So
we're going to...
I actually do that. Like, just, I see the name and I just skip it. Like, I will not even, like, try. I'll just, like, make something up and off I go. If I continue to read it. Yes.
I love the rabbit hole, though. Isn't it so much fun? Me and rabbit holes, I'm telling you. I can go down a rabbit hole for anything, though. So, very not great, but it's so much fun. You learn so much.
Shay is good at naming stuff.
Ooh, that's good to know. Because I'm not great at it.
Yeah. I'm good at naming characters, but not places. I'm bad at naming places. Or worlds. Like, I'm not good at that stuff.
Yeah, with worlds, it's just whatever pops into my head, and then I try to, like, tame it and put it in, make it make sense.
I literally wrote an entire novel, and I did not name the city one time. It's a generic city in Canada. There was no name. That's it.
There's no name for the city they live in Abingdon House. It's just the city.
Yep.
There you go.
That's it. I disappeared. I'm sorry. One of my kids' schools rang. I can't ignore that phone call, unfortunately. Yep. But I was listening in. So
yes, you were on it. I was reading a comment, and you're like, "Click." I'm like, "Sarah is good."
There is a comment she's talking
about.
Okay, no, Cherry Panda. Right. So last year I read All the Stars and Teeth. And 1 month later, I could not remember the name of any of the characters. And I was like, what is the name of this character? What is the name of this one? I can't remember them now. I have the sequel to read, but I can't remember any of the characters' names. Which I find really, really terrible. Like, the book was okay, like enough for me to buy the sequel, but I just can't remember the character names. And they weren't overly complicated ones either. One of them was like Bradley or something like that generic, but I just can't remember what the names are.
Yeah, I do that too. It's fine. I'm like, I know who's doing what, but then when you ask me, like if someone asks me later, I'll be like, oh yeah, the dude the dude that did the thing. Yeah.
Love interest number 3, that one.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, sorry for the extended chat there, but we all had fun. We all enjoyed ourselves.
Yes, we did.
we need to sprint. We don't need to, but we should.
We should.
I
Sprint.
am going to say goodbye now because I have to go to class. But thank you for having me. I got 993 words, and I'm going to type those 7 words before class
Yes,
starts.
just quickly do the
Yes.
same.
Yeah, that's going to be my next sprint. Write 1 sentence. Okay, thank you
Yes.
for having me.
Thank you for joining
Bye,
us
Day.
today.
I'll have it on in the
Have fun
background.
with
So
class.
thank you. Thank you.
Awesome.
Bye.
Bye. Right. Does anybody have any preferences about the length of sprint they would like to do? We're here for about another 40-ish or so minutes before I have to go and do errands and school stuff.
Same here.
So we could do 20 to 30 minute sprint. Should bring us to
Yeah.
closing time. That's not the right term that I wanted to use, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. I'm good with the 25 if everybody else is good with 25.
Yeah, sounds good. No one's saying
Yep.
no, so there we go.
Nobody disagrees with me, so there we go.
Right, so we're going to head into our 25-minute sprint if everybody is ready to go, and we'll get some more words done in 3, 2, 1, begin.
Sorry, Sin, you were late, or we saw it late.
Hello. I got too focused. That was the end of the sprint. How did everybody do?
Oh my gosh, so was I. I realized I grabbed my something to drink, and I looked at the time. I'm like, "What? How are we there already?"
Yeah.
So I was like, "Last words, hurry, hurry."
Went past very quickly.
Yes. So for the stream, I got 1,123 words. So I like numbers that do that.
Very good.
Like the
start
1,
to
2, 3.
morning.
That's kind of cool. Yeah,
Yes.
and a
It's all
handwritten
in a row.
letter. Yeah.
Which adds even more words onto it, so that's good.
Yes. So I did good. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you. I got 1,937, which means I can stop for now. Oh, I stopped in the middle of a sentence as well.
Oh no! Finish that.
It's gonna bite me in the butt when I come back to writing later. Another long talky chapter, which I'm not happy with, but I need to get them out of the way. Casey figured out character names. Yes.
That's awesome.
That's great. Justin 340.
Nice.
Finn is 75 done with transferring notes into Scrivener, so it's been very productive. Are they all handwritten notes that you're transferring and typing up, or are they coming from a different program into Scrivener? I'm curious. Elaine, 8 pages read. What are you reading, Elaine? That's what I feel like I want to know the answer to.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I'm not reading when I should be.
It's okay, Sarah. I just finished Saga, which is a graphic novel. So I was like, ooh, it was a lot. But so that I just finished the book 1 of it. So on to book 2 at some point. But I'm gonna read War Girls, I think, next. I'm trying to stay on top of reading and do Nano, and it's just it's hard.
Yeah. Annotated, there we go, the draft and good notes on my iPad, so putting those into Scrivener. So yeah, technically handwritten. That's cool.
Nice.
Ashley got other stuff done, kitchen clean, so I have no excuse and have to get some writing done, right?
Yeah.
You've done the tidying, so yes.
Yep.
Yes. Ube's reading a dystopian.
Nice.
12 pages left. Ooh,
oh my gosh.
Almost at the end.
That's exciting.
I hope you're enjoying it. Very much. So what 10 books start of November to get back into reading. Haven't read a single one of them yet.
Oh no.
Okay, I feel that, Sin. I feel that.
Yep.
Let me buy this book. It sounds super interesting. This will get me back into reading.
Yeah. What helps me is that I say I'm going to read something next, and then I feel like someone's going to ask me, so how's that going? That kind of like motivates me to at least need to read a couple chapters so that when they ask like a month later, I can say it. I at least started it. So I put the pressure on myself by trying to announce that I'm going to read something.
It's the accountability.
Yeah.
I feel like I need to then purposely set up and do like a reading stream.
I'll read
just
with
to
you.
Be like, right, this is a reading stream. I have to read now. And
yeah,
for a good couple of hours. So that might force me to actually.
If you do it, I will do it with you because I've been going to a couple of booktubers reading sprints. That's been helping me stay on top of getting my reading done. Because I'll block it out just like I block out writing sessions when I go on you guys' into you guys' chat.
I have to start setting it up once every couple of weeks then just because I've got books I need to read.
Yeah.
But I'm not reading them.
Yeah, and it's just like when it feels a little sad when I know I should have read something and I'm not reading. I'm like, oh, I feel a little sad about that. So
yeah.
Trying to stay on
Never Saw Me Coming.
Ooh. That sounds good.
I like the title.
Yeah. I like a good catchy title. It makes you want to read it.
Yeah. Love. Okay,
Ashley would
I'll
love a
put
reading
that in
stream
my
too.
notes. Reading
Yes.
stream it is. Get the accountability for everybody.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Suna's told only one friend that I'm writing a book. That way, if I fail, I don't have to tell anyone. Yeah,
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yes.
They look pretty on the bookshelves though until you pick them up, so it's never a total waste.
Yeah.
No, that is true.
They
My
do make some nice decorations.
My bookshelf is right where my youngest daughter can reach.
Aww.
So despite how nicely I put the books on the two shelves I have on like our family set of shelves, she always touches them, and she'll take them off the shelf and then she'll pile them up like she's making a tower out of them.
Oh,
and I'm like,
course.
you know, that's really cute and sweet, but you're going to bend the pages of my book, and I'd really prefer you not do that, so please put them back. But now I'm just like, don't, and I just
You gotta
put them
have
back.
the books.
They're just piled now onto the shelves instead of looking pretty, because I know that she's going to take them back off again sooner or later. So it's like, you know what? Don't bend the books of my favorite. Don't bend the covers of my favorite books.
Yeah.
Or take them and open them and color them in.
Oh, color them in. Yeah, I remember those days.
Yeah.
It's like not a coloring book. Deep breaths.
But you see me writing in a document that for weeks and just didn't say anything. See, my husband knows I write books.
Yeah.
But he's very much, you need to get your books published, Sarah. And I'm like, I'm working on it. That's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, that's my husband too.
No, you haven't, but you have said that before.
My kids always want to see what they're more interested in the comic stuff. So they're always like, what have you been working on in that? So I have to show them. So I actually have to keep doing stuff. Yeah. I'm like, oh, I think I already showed them that last week. I didn't do anything new. Oh no.
Yeah.
So yeah, telling people definitely keeps you accountable. That's why only like within my family, they know about the writing stuff. That way I don't get bombarded with.
Especially if it's people you know will go, why are you not working on your book? Where is your progress? And you're like, I'm sorry. I'll sort it out. I promise.
It's like my brain is so scattered. I have like 90 projects, so which one would you like me to talk about? None of them are.
Yes. Ashley started setting a timer in that weird between time getting home and starting dinner to read, so that I get some reading done without ignoring all the other have to.
Mm-hmm.
That is a very good idea. I have always thought about going, I need to give myself like a proper schedule. So at this particular point in the day where I know I don't have a lot to do, that's when I can read. But then I feel bad if I don't stick to the schedule. So then I avoid making one, so I don't make myself feel bad when I don't follow it.
There you go.
Which is not what I should be doing.
Yeah, you can't feel bad. Life things happen. You can't feel bad if you don't make the schedule.
It's not even that other life stuff happens. I just don't do what I'm supposed to do. I need to read this hour. I won't. So it's not even something's preventing me. It's I am preventing me myself from doing it because I just don't want to. But yeah, I will need to routine eventually.
Oh, and you can't do audiobooks. Are you the one? Are you the one that says you're not big on audiobooks?
I can't.
Oh, that's too bad.
No, I know. So many times I'm like, I wish, because I have podcasts downloaded that I want to listen to. But I very easily lose focus if I'm listening to something. Mm-hmm. So if I'm a nice speed read as well. So it's like unless I'm reading something, I do not retain the information. Or I have to just sit there and stare at nothing while I force myself to listen to the words. Otherwise, I will just zone out and not pay attention to what's going on.
Oh, no. Yeah,
but I would love to be able to. Audiobooks would be so handy. I just can't do it.
It's
My
so
brain
convenient.
will not let me.
Sometimes I'll have the audiobook going while I'm reading, so that if I have to do something, I can close the book and keep the book. It's like for me, it's like watching a movie, because when I watch movies, I don't always look at the movie. Sometimes it's just playing in the background. I don't know how I don't know if that's normal. Like most people can just do other stuff while they're watching something, but I just can, and I'm taking it all in. But there are times when I have to stop and be like, whoa, and look to see what's actually happening.
Yeah.
And that's how it is with audiobooks too. Sometimes something's going on and I'm like, oh, let me grab the book really quick. Okay. And then I can go back to what I'm doing. But yeah, I can get a ton of stuff done.
Yeah.
And that's the only time I can almost day nap is if I'm listening to an audiobook, because my brain tells me I have to be doing something. So I trick my brain saying because it won't stop. It'll just tell me, oh, you need to do this.
You are doing something. I'm
Yeah.
reading. You are
So I
taking
can
in
actually lay
information.
down. I can lay down and listen to it. That's the only way I get a break.
Life
But if I sit down 2 minutes later, I'm like, nope, I've got to be doing something.
Yeah.
It stinks.
See, I'm the type of person who I don't need subtitles, but I would always prefer to have subtitles so I can read the subtitles as opposed to listen to what they're saying.
Yeah, it's weird that I do that.
It's not weird that you do that.
You moaned about it literally 2 nights ago.
I moaned about the fact that you will happily have subtitles on to read, but you refuse to watch anime that is subbed.
Because I missed the action.
You missed action. This is true. That's a lot going on in it.
So yeah, I think what I'm going to have to do is try it your way. I will get a book, read the book, but listen to the audiobook at the same time, and see if that helps my brain and trick it into actually focusing on the audiobook.
Yeah,
because it will slow my brain down reading the words to keep in time with what I'm listening to here. So I'll have to give that a try.
Yeah. And I don't speed read. That's the thing. It's because I'm a little bit dyslexic. So I automatically, even when I'm reading a book, I have a narrator reading to me that kind of corrects things before I see it wrong. Because when you're speaking, when I'm reading out loud, I can always trip over a word. I'm like, oop, I know I read that wrong out loud.
Yeah.
But the narrator fixes it as the narrator in my head is reading to me. So it's something that I don't know how, but it's just something that's come along that's helped me read since I've been in first grade. Just having a narrator in my head reading to me. So I don't read fast anyway, because it would be weird to have someone talking to me that fast. So I read at about a pace that someone, once upon a time, if you can imagine someone reading a story to you, that's the pace that I read, which is why I can't read like the people who read 30 books. I can't do it. There's just not enough hours in the day for me to read 30 books a month. Because I can't speed read. I mean, I guess I could, but it would be a hot mess. I would not know half of what I read.
No, you would not. I mean, I remember speed reading one book, and then I just happened to reread that book, and I read a part of the book. I was just like, this didn't happen, did it? Did I skip this part by accident? I'd skipped this piece of information. I was like, I didn't read that the first time. But yeah, I can talk quite fast, so my brain is just always at that speed of.
And Sarah, you can
as quickly as possible.
You can speed up your audiobooks too.
No, I know.
Yeah.
Sin was here. Audio's 2 times the speed.
Yep.
Just to get the information a little bit faster.
Yeah.
No subtitles for everything. Yes, definitely. But no, I'll definitely have to try that. Maybe I'll try it with a book that I already have and have read. Well, I'll try it with Six of Crows. I've been meaning to reread that.
Yeah.
But if I try it with a book that I already know, it might help a little bit more.
Help. Yeah. Help you figure out how they're retaining and put it at maybe 1.2 or 1.5 if you needed to go a little bit faster.
Yeah.
To catch up with how you read. So yeah, because if you can multitask and still get the reading done, man, that's where it's at, Sarah.
Yeah, driving cases, do my reading. Yeah, do some cleaning, reading. Yes.
Yep, that is me.
Right. we're going to have to call it for
Yes.
this stream. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. Nia, do you want to do a quick outro before we go?
Yeah, quick outro. I am Nia, Vixen of Fiction here on YouTube. I'm also on Twitch. I will be streaming Friday, lunchtime stream at 12:30. Come grab your avatars. We'll play a little quick games between sprints to keep everybody motivated and going. So that's Friday on Twitch at 12:30, and then I'll be back Monday, I think, for lunchtime sprints again. So I have an alternating schedule every other Monday on YouTube, every other Friday and Saturday on Twitch. You can find me there. And I'm a writer of all kinds of things. And I work on a comic. And I have a lot of kids. And I have a dog. And I'm doing the things. That's me.
She has a dog cam on Twitch.
Yes. The Loki cam will be going on Friday.
Yay.
I like dogs.
And I am Sarah. Clearly, I'm here on YouTube. But I also stream on Twitch every Wednesday at 4 p.m. EST, including tonight. So you'll find me over there with some more writing sprints. Yeah, thank you for joining us. Happy NaNoWriMo. Happy productivity for the rest of the day. And we'll see you later.